Alrighty, y'all. Hello. Taking a look at more interesting features of living spaces, houses, that type of thing in different European countries. Big surprise. A lot of times it's much different than the U.S. A lot of times I am very pleasantly surprised and quite frankly embarrassed with some of our methods here, because a lot of these end up being, pretty either high tech or like really kind of smart, well engineered, high build quality, that type of thing, right? And today we're looking at verandas. Now, these things aren't very, I don't know much about them because they're not very common here in the U.S. I will show, these clips I've been told to look at. These were sent in through email by, I believe it's Tommy or Tommy. So thank you. Thank you very much for that. They sent in a couple clips. And they said, check these out. From what they've seen, these are not common in the U.S., and I'm probably going to agree because I know theoretically what a veranda is, but quite frankly, I don't have enough experience with them to really know about them. So we're going to take a look at these, and then I'm going to show, we'll go on like Zillow or something and just take a look at a handful of houses in, the Illinois, like greater Chicagoland area, and see if we can find anything resembling what we see. I have a feeling we won't. Any of these clips used will be linked in the description down below. Let's go ahead and check some of these out. I believe these videos are from either Germany or the Netherlands. I believe one of them is from France as well. So I think these might be pretty common throughout a big part of Europe. All right, and this is the first clip I was told to look at. Okay, so we got a sliding door. Whoa. Oh, wow. I guess I didn't know what to expect there. These all... Whoa. These all slide out in one swoop. Obviously, it's multiple pieces. You can see them bunched up here. I guess I didn't... I guess I thought I was looking at like a frame with lines in it or something. No. These were sections of a window. Okay, that's insane. Wow, that looks so fancy. If you wanted to be nitpicky, gonna get a lot of fingerprints. You could see some when the sun's shining on. But I mean, hey, you keep your windows clean. This looks gorgeous. Wow. Oh, and it's got a lock. Okay, so if this, does it open both ways? Dude, that's freaking sick. Everything's solid, too. Like the way that locks. It's kind of satisfying, right? All right, and here's another perspective. This one's not as big. Dude, that segmented door is so freaking satisfying, right? It does go both ways. Okay, that is so freaking cool. Right? Why is that so smart? Because you can have this open or partially closed, partially open as much as you want. And of course, when it's fully closed, it looks very sharp. I like the frame and just kind of the way it looks. It looks kind of nice, clean, premium. What's it going to do here? Wow. It's so customizable. You can have partial shade. You can open or close these as much as you want. That's freaking sick, dude. Wow. Why is stuff like this so interesting? because I've never seen this. In any homes I've seen, any family, any friends. Look at that. What on earth? You can have total enclosure if you want. I will say that we have something called, and I wouldn't even know if this is exactly the same. It's like, let's say it's similar in concept, but it's obviously a little different still. But we have something on some houses called like a 3 seasons room, at least here in the Midwest, that's what we say. And it's more of like, I feel like this thing we're looking at here is super awesome. I also feel like it's definitely an add-on, right? Like it's not literally part of the house. Here, if we look at the brick and the doors, right? This is the back of the house, and you can just add this on. which I think is awesome because I've never seen anything like this. And we're seeing, as we're, seeing it in operation, I think it's very smart. But we have a 3 Seasons room in some places, but it's more of like part of the house. So you walk out and it's like you're outside, but you're really not. You're the inside still, but it's all like open, like with windows so you can see outside. And maybe you can open, I don't remember if the windows are openable on some of them. I think they might be. Or, of course, you can open the door. So it's like a kind of barrier, like between going outside and staying in the house. But quite frankly, it depends on who you ask, of course. In my taste, it's not as like aesthetic, right? It's just, it is what it is. In most cases, for one, it's not in the back. It's usually in the front, although it does depend. But I'm someone who likes to hang out in the backyard, right? Not the front yard. So this looks like it's in the back of the house 100%. And so in this case, this setup is really cool. Also, may I mention, those 3 Seasons rooms are usually older and they don't look quite chic and cool like this. They don't have this kind of customization with the roof panels. The roof is usually not see-through. I don't know. It's like different. That's the only thing I can think of that like would come sort of close to this, but not exactly, right? They're literally blinds on the roof. What a concept. Wow. That door, this whole door mechanism is wild to me. I've never seen anything like that in the US at all. God, and it's solid too. You can tell it's got some weight to it. Holy smokes. What a cool backyard setup. It's not huge, right? Of course, it depends on where you live. If you live in a city, you're not going to get much more than this in the U.S. either. So if this is in a city environment, this makes perfect sense. Of course, if you live in an American suburb, you're going to have a lot bigger yards. But the feel of this, like for the space you have, this is making use of it really well. It's a pretty cool setup. Especially with this veranda, I just think it's hella cool. I want to say, I wonder where else these are popular. I'm going to assume these are popular throughout, a good portion of Europe, if not all. I want to say I've seen or heard about some of these, in certain like Australian homes as well, maybe New Zealand, because they tend to be, pretty different than the U.S. as well. I don't know why we don't have stuff like this. It's kind of weird. I will check, though. Maybe we do, and I just have somehow never seen it. All right, now this is a video from France, I believe. Again, look at this I love all the windows, so you can totally see out, but you're kind of in a cozy, like say it's a little chilly out or something, right? Or if it's, some light rain, you don't want to sit out in the rain. You're sitting pretty much outside and you get a view of everything. It's cool. I love the glass, how it's on, on top and all around you. You get these great views. Of course, there's probably different styles. They look really neat. I love the way they look. They're very clean, right? And it looks modern as well. Wow. That is very cool. Like a very cool concept. They look to be built pretty well. That's what I also like, because that build quality of things, if you look at the windows, right? You look at my video on like front doors and stuff. The build quality is on another level in Europe. And yeah, some of our American stuff is a little bit embarrassing. Not gonna lie. Here's like a little animation of how these are built. So yeah, you can see this house. This is definitely somewhere in Europe. I mean, look at the aesthetic. Look at the way things look, the streets. It's cool. It's just totally different, right? And you can see what it would look like without. Kind of drill into the house, which, by the way, look at the house, right? Look at what it's made out of. It's not 2x4s and, OSB board and siding, faux brick, right? Faux stone, which means fake, for anyone that doesn't know that. you might have a couple houses that may look like this, and they don't look like this. You could tell the difference. But, they might be like a half stone look on the bottom, but it's not real. It's like a what is it? Raladan. Or not Raladan, Raladan. I think it's Raladan, right? This one has panes so you can see, you can get some sunlight. Of course, you can see out the sky, whatever, but it's also got some solidness to it, right? So that's kind of cool. I mean, you can get different styles if you don't want all that glass, right? This one would be a little better for shade and maybe a little less of a heat magnet with all that glass up there, not being there, rather. Really cool. I think that looks sharp. This one is from the UK, Vérandas UK. And again, it shows you kind of a cool animation of how these go in. Wow. I mean, those are actually in there in the ground. Dude, that is so cool. It's these little details, man, about a lot of these houses and living spaces in European countries. They're so different. You would expect them to be different, of course. But the way they're different, it's so fun seeing how things are done in other places. And, I realize not everywhere can always be the same, but some of the ways we do things here are a little bizarre, right? I think everyone knows the stereotype that like American houses are like paper, right? They're very hollow. They're very, for lack of a better term, let's call it what it is. I mean, they're kind of weakly. They're kind of weak. They're kind of built in not the best way. And, there's a lot to it. A lot of Americans move houses a lot. They don't expect to live there for generations, right? It's a whole different thing. But still, even modern places in Europe, like the way they're built, a lot of these things, a lot of these accessories, simple things like doors, windows, the function is so much more solid, so much more satisfying to use. That's what I'm seeing. And something like this is very useful that you wouldn't think would be region locked, right? Like you think this would be just common anywhere. And it very well might be. But for some reason here, this is not, I've never seen anything like this. And I just find that bizarre. We will look basically right now at some houses here in my general kind of radius, within, a pretty big radius. And we'll see if we can find something like this around me in the U.S. I can safely guarantee that I don't have anything like this at my house. All right, so if we jump over onto Zillow, right, just one of the many real estate sites, they seem to have a lot of results. I think we'll click on a couple. We'll work our way out. So we're going to click on a few towards like actually just in Chicago proper, right? Because of course you're dealing with a big city with tight spaces. That would be, you know, at least a little more similar than what you could find than, you know, what you would find in Europe. Whereas of course when you go up to the, you know, many millions, it seems like, of Chicago suburbs, because Chicagoland is absolutely massive. If we go out to the suburbs where there's a little more space, you know, I think it'd be even less likely that we'd find something like that, but we'll have to see. So if we click on some random, you'll notice the price difference too. These houses in Chicago are ridiculous. I see a lot of M's, a lot of millions. Crazy, crazy stuff. So if we click on one of the cheaper ones, I mean, it's weird looking at real estate there. Keep in mind, I don't live or have never lived downtown Chicago. It's not my thing. I'm a very casual city person. I'm more of a country person. I don't like, you know, if you see my videos, I have lands at our property. I don't like to be in a city squashed together. That's not what I'm into. This is in Chicago. Let's see if we can find, simply we're looking for the thing in the back, like a nice veranda, nice modern look, and just see how they do the backyard. And what do you know? Nothing. Right? You exit the back of the house and it's just nothing. And by the way, it's not a bad, I'm not saying it's a bad or a good thing. You know, I'm sure some of these houses will have really nice backyards. It's just saying that that thing, that kind of style of veranda that I was just told about and that we just learned about, is probably going to be impossible to find here. And I think that's very bizarre. Let's go to like a really expensive house that's $3.1 million. I think that's absolutely crazy. I don't know how people even do this. I'm someone that could never, ever justify this. I mean, it's nice, but geez, you know, it's definitely, I mean, it should look expensive because it is expensive. It's definitely nice materials and nice quality everywhere inside, more than you would find in most homes, of course, here. Okay, so this must be up. Yeah, this is like a rooftop deal. So this is even more unique. This is something you would rarely ever find unless you have the money to live on top of a building in, you know, Chicago or New York City or something. So, but if you'll notice, not really the same thing. We don't have anything in the back like that. Let's go to Winnetka. Is like a really, really rich area of Chicago, north side. Winnetka, any movie fans, that's where, what do you call it? Home Alone, the original Home Alone was filmed. You know, like their big house or whatever where Kevin was home alone, right? That's that was filmed in Winnetka. I believe that house is actually, you can stay in it on Airbnb as well. I've never done it myself, but look at this, 18 million. That is actually insane. All right, let's see if this has it. Does this have a fancy veranda in back? $18 million. Holy smokes, this is absolutely wild. That is too big. I could never. This is too much. Way too much. Also, anything this does have, keep in mind, is not normal because no one has, you know, it's not normal to have an $18 million house anywhere on earth. So, yeah, this has an incredible backyard. I mean, look at, you're right on the water. It's like you're all by yourself. Yeah, that is wild. That's why it's $18 million. Let's get real. But once again, no veranda. The house just kind of ends. You do have some cool windows and stuff. Of course, that's part of the house. You have a balcony, which is cool. You have another one up there. But I don't really see that cool Eurotech like we saw, right? You just go outside. That's your only choice. I think this is pretty wild. Wow, that it goes down. Yeah, you actually go down to your own little beach. That's insane, by the way. That's what you're paying for. All right, so let's go out to the suburbs, just a couple more, and then we'll get this show on the road here. Let's see, Arlington Heights, famous Chicago suburb by Schaumburg. Let's see, any Eurotech. Boy, no pictures of this bad boy, and this is 400 grand. Whew. Alrighty, nothing there. Another popular suburb, Schaumburg. I don't think we're going to find anything here. I think you're going to get the point. This house has been renovated inside. But yeah, this is like a typical backyard, right? Mostly just grass, barely any trees, a little bit of landscaping, you know, dress, but not much. And yeah, we have decks like this. They're obviously open and exposed, and these are fine, but they're not that fancy, right? This is pretty much what you can expect in any American city suburb, right? And then let's go to like Algonquin. And let's see. Yeah, nothing like it. I mean, look, you have this, but that's, again, what you can expect. It's essentially a deck, right? And then it just happens to be tall enough to where they have some, columns there, if you can even call those columns. And, you get a little bit of shade or whatever. But, yeah, you see my point, right? That kind of European veranda I have just seen, and I really do like. And unfortunately, that's just not a common thing at all because I can't find anything remotely close to it. Browsing homes of various areas and various price ranges. Again, I mean, I think this is a nice backyard, but, it would be cool to have something like the verandas we just saw in these European houses. Now, the closest thing you even get is, again, like this house does have that little bit of extension. This is still part of the house, so you can access this right in the house. That kind of cool aesthetic veranda with like the different blinds and the, Relatin and stuff. Yeah, you're just not going to find it. I think that's very interesting. So, I mean, do you guys like those? Are they pretty common where you're at? If you're ever watching this, wherever you're watching this, honestly, I was told these are pretty common in a lot of homes in like Germany and the Netherlands and stuff, possibly elsewhere. I mean, some of those videos were from France and the UK we looked at as well. I think they're very cool. They're very cool. Just add it to the list of like things I'm learning about, details in like European homes and living spaces that honestly blow my mind. The way they function were so cool. I like the way they looked. I like the way they functioned. That door that goes either way and literally stacks on top of each other, and then you pull it out and it's so like nice, like and seamless. Boom, boom, boom. Every section, like it's so freaking cool. As you can see, I didn't see any doors remotely close to that, even on an $18 million house here in Illinois. So yeah, that is pretty freaking cool. Pretty crazy, honestly, too. It would be so wild if there was like a neighborhood that was built here in the U.S. that like went by actual European standards. How interesting would that be, right? I'm sure they would charge a lot for it, though. I do think it's like certain things like that. Like, dude, people need to get inspiration from stuff like that, man. Some places, remember? That's what I'm about on this channel. I love America. I love the U.S. I'm from here, right? This is who I am. But it's okay to look at other places and sometimes think, hey, other places might do things different. They might do things better. That's the vibe I'm getting, especially when I look at how things are built. Anyways, that was fun. I can't wait to see what you have to say in the comments. I appreciate you watching. It's going to be it for this one. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, y'all. I'll catch you later.